And look for someone who's supposed to show up here. Okay, wait, what about this log?
You notice a log. You look under the log and discover a clam lying beneath it. You pick it up.
Alright, and if we open up the clam... Hello?
You will not require that much force.
Are you sure?
You open the clam.
Yeah, apparently we can do that with our bare hands, so we got a pearl from the clam. So this time it was actually good for something. Don't think there's anything else to be gotten here, though. Well, there's a swampy poisonous mire that we can get. Also the witch's cave. We could try to go inside, but this time the bat
As you
thing...
near the cave, the bat symbol above the entrance starts radiating an ominous black glow.
Yeah, the bat isn't just for show this time. If you try to get inside, that happens.
You saw black glow. You did not slow, turned not away. You've had your day.
Yep, so we can actually die from being around the witch's cave. And again, there's supposed to be someone that shows up here, much like in the... Well, I'm kind of waiting to trigger two things. You might have figured out what they are. Ah, here we go. Yep, they brought this back. And apparently that didn't end quite well, but... Oh, here we go. What luck.
Repressing the urge.
Hello, who are you?
Well, this voice.
My name is Graham. What is yours?
Possum. That is what my grandma calls me. She is not at all well these days. I was collecting flowers for her, but now I cannot anymore.
I don't know what kind
Why
of
is that?
stuff they had to do to come up with a voice like this,
I
but...
looked everywhere for it. It must be around here somewhere.
I will keep my eye out for it.
Thank you, Graham.
Yep. So that's a voice, but actually, wait a moment. Oddly enough, I don't think we're done talking to her.
A mouthful.
So I'm trying to click on the... There we go.
Excuse me, Possum?
Yes, Graham.
I was wondering, could you tell me anything about this land?
You mean Kalima? There is a town to the northeast, and a church not far south of that. Grandma and I live in a house near the beach. You should not enter the swamp to the north. It is said to be influenced by magic. Many have easily lost their way in there, and finding your way out again is difficult.
Thank you, Possum.
Well,
Is there
one
any
more
way
time.
at all through this swamp?
I do not know, but I did see someone walking out of there not long ago. He was writing something in a book as he walked.
Who was that?
A monk from the church.
Well,
You mentioned that your grandma is not well. What ails her?
I'm not sure, but I think it gives her sad dreams. While she sleeps, sometimes she talks out loud. Sometimes I listen to her. No, do not leave me, she says.
well,
At first, I thought she was speaking to me. I would go over to her, but she would not notice me. Then I realized it was a dream. I think
Doesn't
she
sound
misses
sketchy at
the
all, no,
person
sir.
she talks to in her sleep. And then there's the scary dreams.
well, yep, this is certainly
You
different.
mentioned that your grandma had scary dreams. What are these dreams about?
Better go into that.
Bats.
Bats?
Yes, in her sleep, she screams with fright, as if a bat is chasing her, or she's being hurt by one. Then she'll say something like, "Blue light is the bat's true bane," over and over.
Yep,
Blue light? What does she mean?
actually don't know by
I've
that.
asked her this, but she just shakes her head and will not speak of it.
Thank you, Possum. I wish your grandma a swift recovery.
Guess we might
Thank
find
you,
out
Graham.
eventually, though.
I will speak of you to her.
So thankfully now we're done speaking to this girl, but having acquired the pearl, I think we need to return to the town. So actually, what's this?
You peer behind the plant. Lo and behold, you have found the little girl's missing basket.
Well, that was easy, but
You take the basket.
we will give it to her as we return from the town, because we need to go there right now. Why isn't the skipping thing working now? Oh well. Hello? Well, it works kind of sometimes, half the time. And let's speak to this guy again.
If I were to, say, purchase the shell, what would it cost?
A trifle would you expend? 7 golds.
I fear that I did not bring any money.
Curiosity, I find, in one who travels but with nothing to barter brings.
Good point.
Yeah, good point. Anything else?
Might you trade the shell comb for something?
The merchant ponders over this for a moment.
Of value, many things are. Of fancy, only one I have.
And that is?
Pearls.
Sure enough. Let's give him this pearl that we found.
Would you be interested in this pearl?
Indeed, I would. In return, the shell I present to you. May you be always groomed well.
The merchant grabs the pearl and tosses the shell comb to you. Then he saunters off. History will decide how greatly you were just swindled.
Oh, what a beauty.
And suddenly,
This'll be worth a fortune back home.
yeah, his accent kind of slipped there, and then he suddenly just goes away. I guess he left his horse. And, well, before we need to head west again now, I think. I find... And, actually, wait a moment. Is this where the pumpkins are? Because we did find the missing pumpkin. There we go. Well,
Thank you,
Graham.
thank you, Graham. Here, take this. Maybe this useless trinket of Haggadis will be of some use to you. Serves you right for not enabling me to protect my kids.
The pumpkin hands you a gold brooch with a beautiful blue sapphire.
yep, and the treasures actually will have a practical use this time around, I think. They're not just trinkets that were... Actually, wait. We're not done with the pumpkins yet, I don't think. But the treasures are meant to have a practical application, as opposed to last time.
Is there anything more I can do for you?
Me thirsty, Mama.
Well,
Now that you mention it, my baby is feeling a bit poorly. After all, living in a bowl ain't too good for your health, you know.
No, I did not know that. What would make your baby feel better?
Fresh water, naturally.
Of course.
Not too sweet, though. In fact, the more bitter, the better.
well,
My children are very particular about what they drink.
I will see what I can do.
so with that in mind, let's go back south this time. Yeah, apparently pumpkins like bitter water. Who knew? I certainly didn't. What if we head south here, and I don't know if east or west. I think west or east. It's the other direction.
You have run into an evil enchanter.
Yeah, you tell me that just right as I leave the screen, so... So there is this freshwater spring here. Oh, there's the ball.
You fill the bowl with the fresh spring water.
And let me see. Go ahead and save and head back to the north where the pumpkins are, and careful not to fall into death. But the water is too sweet, so let's actually wait. Let's use our sword, I think, on the lemon.
You cut the lemon with...
Yep, and let it juice, and squeeze the
After
lemon on
using
the
your
water.
sword to cut the lemon's surface, you squeeze some of its juice into the bowl. Then you discard the lemon.
Yep, and with this lemon water we give them to to the pumpkin.
You pour the bitter water over the baby pumpkin. It seems to like that.
Thank you again, Graham. Here, take this.
And we
The
got...
pumpkin reaches into her head and pulls out a candle,
Yep.
which she then hands to you.
And we'll actually need that candle to
That thing has
survive.
been jammed in my head for as long as I can remember. I know it ain't much, but maybe you'll find some use for it.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll see.
Mention it. Besides, it's really hard for me to sleep with that thing lit up inside my head all night.
Well, it's off to the quest for the first gem now, I think. Now that we've gotten that basic necessary item from a completely random thing. Actually, wait. Need to give the basket back to this girl, that's right.
You can. You hand the basket to Possum.
Thank you, kind sir. Please take this flower. I'm afraid it's all I have to give you.
It is more than enough. I noticed that you have picked only yellow flowers.
Of course. Is it not customary for one to pick yellow flowers for another who's gravely ill?
Certainly it is. I'm sorry to hear about your grandma, Possum.
Yep.
Thank you. Goodbye.
So off she goes. I guess Grandma's going to die soon. So much the same as before. Actually, wait. We're supposed to go further south, but for some reason there's a rock there that doesn't let us do that, I guess, because this time further south means
A mermaid basks on a nearby rock.
A bit
her
to the
long,
east as
flowing
well.
hair extends over most of her upper body. The green scales on her lower body sparkle as she basks in the sun.
well, let's save. This can only go right, you know. Maybe talk to her.
You say a few words to the mermaid. It quickly becomes apparent to you that she cannot understand your strange speech, let alone speak it.
Right, so maybe if we give her a flower, much like last
You
time.
offer the yellow flower to the mermaid, but she shakes her head. Apparently, she either doesn't like flowers, yellow is not her color, or she already has a bow. Never mind. You prefer women with legs.
Well, we're kinda done with her. Not completely, but I don't think we'll have to hear that voice again, if that's what you mean. So let's try the shell comb.
You hold out the shell comb in your hand. Clear recognition shines from the mermaid's delicate features. She hesitates a moment, then cautiously extends her arm, hands open expectantly.
Well,
You gently place the shell comb in her palm.
yep.
The mermaid examines it and smiles. She removes an opal necklace from around her neck and hands it to you. After a moment of admiring her once lost possession, she looks at you with anticipation. You attempt to charade the act of going underwater to the mermaid. She regards you with a look of puzzlement. Just when the whole demonstration becomes too embarrassing to continue, she suddenly dives into the sea and swims right up to you.
And now, this happens.
After giving you a rather intense kiss, the mermaid dives under the water again. You wonder where she has disappeared to. Then suddenly, you feel a pulling at your legs. The mermaid
And-
holds on to you, keeping you from resurfacing. You struggle instinctively while trying to hold your breath, but she will not let go. You know you are going to black out soon.
And apparently we're going to die of drowning until this happens.
Wait a minute, you're still breathing. How can this be? Could it have been the mermaid's kiss? Speaking of which, where has she gone to this time?
Well, I guess we'll find out as she brings this oddly detailed seahorse with her to us.
The seahorse is waiting for you to mount its saddle.
Well, let's do that then.
Well, this is a new experience. The seahorse willingly allows you to climb upon its back. You slide into the little saddle and take up the reins in your hands. You just hope this creature knows where it is taking you. After a time of traveling through ever-deepening water, you arrive at a massive stone archway. Passing through it, you notice it is covered with many different intricate symbols, none of which you recognize. Mer riding, perhaps? As you
Perhaps.
emerge on the other side of the arch, a grand sight greets your eyes.
Yeah, I guess there was technically an arch in the original version, but not quite like this, I don't think.
You have entered an aquatic throne room. As one would expect, such a place has a throne of sorts. But what you see seated in it takes your breath away, if that still applies.
I don't know if it does.
Unmistakably the ruler of the Mer people, the king of this watery world, known by many names. Neptune is the one by which he is best known to your kind.
Yeah, I suppose. So let's hear him out, I guess.
King Neptune is tall and imposing and has a long gray beard.
Speak to him, maybe?
You bow before the king. He returns the gesture with a lowering of his own head. You open your mouth to speak, but only a bubble emerges. It begins floating up to the surface. You watch as your air bubble divides in two. Incredibly, each half maintains its semi-spherical shape. You take the half bubbles in your hands and position them respectively near your mouth and ear.
That's how that works.
An elegant voice instantly booms from them.
You are welcome here, human.
Thank you. I am King Graham of Daventry.
Your courtesy depicts your stature. What is it you seek here?
You explain that you are seeking the 3 gems of nature, and that you believe one of them to be somewhere in this realm. You demonstrate the approximate size and shape of the gem, then mention the Door of Destiny and what you hope to find on the other side.
I do have that which you are seeking, and know of the Door of Destiny. It is very old. Its origin is known to but a few. What I possess was known to the ancients as the Birth Gem. In the realm of the Mer people, it is called the Water Gem, for without water, life cannot begin.
So I don't know.
Might I have this gem, Your Majesty?
What about primordial
I
soups
shall
that don't have
try
hydrogen
to
or
tell.
oxygen?
But first I
You don't
must
know that.
ask you to earn it by way of performing a service for me.
You are about to say anything, but then remember what you heard the last time you said that word to the stone door. Instead, you just nod and allow Neptune to continue.
My trident, the symbol of my power and the strength of my people, has been stolen.
Yep.
A faint mumbling can be heard through the ear half of your bubble. This event is obviously of concern to those in attendance.
It is believed that one of our allies and neighbors have taken advantage of the Mer people's kindness, and that their own king now has possession of the trident.
Maybe you should
If you can
not have
reclaim
trusted
it
him
in
that
the
much.
name of the Mer people, I will grant you ownership of the Water Gem. Will you do this, King Graham?
The murmuring has stopped. All are awaiting your response.
Not much
I
of a
would be
choice,
honored
though.
to reclaim your trident, Your Majesty.
My sentries will escort you to the border between our 2 kingdoms. You may continue to use that steed to hasten your journey. It is my best.
So what about the
My
mermaid?
sincerest hopes that you do not fall victim to the Sharkies.
Yep.
As you prepare yourself for this new quest, a sudden pang of apprehension seizes you. Did the king just say sharkies, as in sharks?
I think he did. And not much more to do.
Your Majesty, is there anything you can tell me about the Sharkies?
They are large, fierce, and carnivorous.
Anything else?
They are always hungry.
Anything that might be of benefit?
Like something to help you live longer?
Yep.
I do recall that they have poorer vision than we Mer people do, as they dwell in the darker waters.
Wouldn't that mean that they
So I
would have
might
adapted
have a chance
by...
were I to encounter one.
You can always hope.
That was not inspiring.
If they live in dark water, though, shouldn't they have adapted to the darkness by getting better vision? I don't know. That's how that
As
should
you
work.
depart the underwater kingdom, you see 2 guards waiting to escort you to the Sharkies realm.
Yep, time to go to Sharkland. Certainly not a death assured mission that we were just saddled with.
The sentries swiftly guide you along the bottom of the seabed, descending into much darker, colder water. After keeping pace with them for what seems like an eternity, you notice a forebodingly dark area looming closer and closer. You have arrived at the border of the Sharky's kingdom. This is as far as the sentries will take you. One of the guards salutes you. Then they both head back to the safety of their own waters. You're on your own from here, Graham.
Yeah, I know we are.
Those guards were sure in a big hurry to get out of here.
So let's say we're at the start of Sharkland.
This underwater realm, debris from a wrecked vessel lies strewn and half buried on the seabed.
Is there anything on the vessel?
Examining the heavily waterlogged remnants of the vessel, you notice an old antique bottle half buried in the sand. With great difficulty, you lean over in your saddle and manage to scoop it up.
Yeah, we'll actually need this bottle, I believe. Is there anything inside?
It is a clear bottle with a cork at the end.
Can we get a
You
piece of
remove
cloth?
the cloth.
Yes, we can. But we'll need the bottle on its own, I believe, for something. Needed to survive this section. Oh shit, well... I was too slow there.
You saw a Sharky in the sea. He quickly made a meal of thee. If you want your life prolonged, next time don't delay so long.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to react when the window's so tiny and you need to click on the very edge of the screen for that to work.
You need to get close.
Seriously now.
You need...
And you know, I'm playing on
Examining.
fast mode, so there's even less time to do that. But and I guess you couldn't even see what that death was like, but yeah, that's what happens when you run into one of those guys and you don't get out of the screen quick. So let's see what happens if we try to avoid them. Okay, this is what we want.
This dark green weed-like grass seems to have a saccharin content.
So there's some
There is nothing you
luminous
need to get.
fish trying to feed on this weed.
You lean over and pick some of the grass, which grows in between the rocks.
Yep, and let's stuff some of that grass inside the bottle.
You stuff the sugary grass into the empty bottle.
And now let's tempt some of these fish into the
You
bottle.
place the baited bottle on the seabed, close to the luminescent fish. A few of the glowing fish are now swimming around inside the bottle.
And we will need this, because this place is quite dark actually.
You take the bottle.
Now we have a glowing bottle, as you can see.
It is a clear bottle. Inside you see some glowing fish. They're bright and pretty. They're also pretty bright.
Well, odd combination of words. What is there a word for that? I'm pretty sure there's a dumb term for that. That's supposed to be like poetic. Something like ekphras? No, that's something else. Pretty sure it ends with phrases or phrases. Also, we're trying to get to this corner without running into more shark people. The sharks that aren't people, though, are not a threat, not really. Also,
It appears to be another part of the rock wall.
it sure does, but this
You
fish...
can't be sure, but there seems to be something odd about this fish's swimming patterns.
Yep, it's kind of going into the rock, isn't it? So, let's approach.
The
And sure
western
enough.
wall is but an illusion. You easily pass through it into a series of caves and tunnels on the other side.
Yeah, later, Hatter. I don't know, she didn't say she was leaving for good, though. She was just taking a break, I guess. But yeah, with our glowing fish bottle, we can navigate this place safely. And at the end, there is this thing, a giant shell.
The cave is very dark. A large opaque shell seemingly blocks a tunnel to the north. Whatever lies in that direction must be very important.
I bet it is. Also, why did my Steam close? I just noticed that.
You feel jagged rocks. You need to move closer to the door.
I should probably check to see if there's anything happened with that, because I have a bit of an issue with Steam earlier.
You can't budge the shell.
What about if we use our sword on the shell?
You slide your blade through a small gap in the door and pull with all your might. It is difficult handling your weapon underwater, and you realize that combat will not be an option. So if it ever comes to that, you're in big trouble.
You could just hold your sword in front of whatever's approaching you.
Floods into the underwater cave, and you are now able to make your way around without the glowing fish.
Yep, so let's go ahead and save, now that we're no longer riding the seahorse. And see what we've just unlocked, well. And here comes the seahorse.
Oh no, the seahorse has followed you. Let's hope it doesn't give your presence away.
I'm in front of these people.
Concealed behind the remnants of a stone archway. This is fortunate, as the king of the Sharkies is also here. Aside from his menacing appearance, he also seems to be in a very bad mood.
I do not understand it. It should work for me. Is it not written that Trident's power can only be wielded by those of goodwill? Well, is it not?
The king's aides nod fervently.
And do I not possess the greatest will in this kingdom? No one can best me in battle.
Yep.
My resolve is unshakable. No amount of bleeding can dissuade me from slaughtering my enemies. Does this not signify that my will is the best there is?
The Sharky King's aides seem all too willing to agree.
Then why does it not work?
You watch carefully as the Sharky King taps 4 shells in order around the arch.
I've got to pay attention here. It's the only way to discern which shells are the correct ones.
It matters not. Tomorrow we invade the Mer People's territory. For without the Trident's power, that old fool Neptune and his weakling followers will fall before our might. Goodwill. Ha! Mine is superior to all.
As he leaves, the Sharky King motions for his guards to remain.
Yep, the guards remain. And we are left to do our own thing now. So how are we going to... Well, let's just go out there and make ourselves
The
seen.
guards have noticed you.
This can only end well, after all.
Did you expect to just float by unnoticed? There are some intelligent guards out there.
Well... Nope, let's do the obvious thing. Let's use the sword.
The guards have noticed you. Your experience in underwater combat is lacking. You are easy prey for the Sharkies. Perhaps discretion is the better part of raiding a treasury?
Now let's do the even more obvious thing.
Having an idea, you approach your somewhat reluctant steed and slap him hard on the back.
Sure,
Look
that
at
works.
him go. The guards are momentarily distracted. Now is your chance.
So let's... While we're kind of screwing our horse over, let's take this chance. We can skip the puzzle if it's too difficult for us, or we can
You push on the shell.
do this. I think that was the correct combination. And yes, it was. So let's save here and gaze at the treasure.
Despite yourself, you cannot help but marvel at the treasure. It must have been collected or stolen over many years, and as such, there are coins and jewels originating from all over the world.
And for having done that,
The sight of all that treasure was too much a temptation for your greedy eyes. At least you didn't have to look at it for long.
nope. So let's just take the trident instead.
Without delay, you snatch up the trident before the guards return to their posts.
And head outside again.
It appears as if the guards are losing interest in the seahorse. You had better get out of here quickly.
Yep, so we need to swim back away now. Better use the same route we used to come in. To go back out.
The guards have noticed you. The guards might have lost interest in chasing your seahorse, but they were quite interested.
Maybe not the exact same route.
Without delay, it appears.
But a fast route, certainly. Or is what I'm trying to do. There we go.
Oh no, the seahorse has followed you all the way back to the secret entrance. The guards are sure to discover you now.
Yep. So let's ride the seahorse one more time.
You remount the seahorse.
And flee. Are you ready for what's
Your
coming?
seahorse glides onward, flicking its little tail faster than ever. You grip the reins tightly, glancing nervously over your shoulder every so often to check for pursuing sentries. As you make distance, your anxiety melts into relief. But it is to be short-lived.
Yep, let's play this minigame that comes with this version. As I'm pretty sure all we do is avoid things. Yep, the most exciting getaway scene ever. Right here. Up two at a time. What a challenge that is. But it doesn't really keep up, does it? Oh, shoot. Oh, that could have been bad. But we were ready for it. And I think that's
Finally,
it.
you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You quickly make a dash for the exit.
As we run away from the shark people and...
As you emerge, you realize you have only seconds before the guards come out after you. And even if you could outrun them, you're sure the commotion would attract the sentry's attention. Then you'd be in real trouble.
Yep, so let's...
Suddenly, you hear a strange voice in your head.
Here we go.
Be of noble and goodwill, royal trident thou may wield.
Yeah, we can wield the trident now, I guess. So let's kill these sharks with the trident.
You don't have time to defend yourself against both guards.
Or not. Yeah, it doesn't quite work.
Charging with trident blazing? That's all well and good, but when there's more than one target, a preventative strategy is called for.
A strategy so obvious as using it on the wall.
You wonder what that did, if anything at all. Oh.
There's no idea why that wall was supposed to react to the trident to begin with, but I guess that works. And we have completed our first quest to get all the gems, I guess. Only 2 to go. Oh shoot. That could have been bad. Yeah, we still need to watch out for those guys as we're trying to leave this place. Oops, well that didn't work. Shoot. I'm gonna have to redo the trident thing.
You had the means to protect yourself.
Oh, I can use a trident against him now. Yeah, I did not realize that was an option. Hello? Could you please?
Attempting?
No, I'm trying to move from one screen to another.
You can't use...
There. Like that. Yeah, apparently we can turn them into fish now. So that's nice. But yeah.
The trident guides you back to Neptune's realm.
How? We're not gonna tell you.
You approach the king. He smiles and graciously accepts his trident from you. Then he calls everyone to attention.
To commemorate the return of my trident, And to honor King Graham's success, I hereby call for a celebration.
The celebration lasts for some time. You eat, drink, and have a merry time with many of the mer people. After a few hours, the festivities wind down, and you finally have a chance to speak with Neptune alone.
Well, what have we to talk about with Neptune?
Nature represent the 3 stages of life. Water gives birth to life, and thus what I have given you is the first of 3. Second is the growth gem, or air gem, for air sustains life and permits it to grow.
How might I find the growth gem?
Well,
I know only that its location is as far above the surface of the land as we are below it. Beyond that, I cannot aid you.
no idea if he saw the seahorse
smirk
right now or not,
crosses
by the way.
Neptune's face momentarily.
You might say that air is not exactly my element.
Well,
You decide that the beverages consumed were to blame for that one.
how do they consume beverages
Third gem,
underwater
Your
though?
Third
Majesty?
is the death gem, the completion of life and the natural order of things. The Door of Destiny understands this now, as did the ancients who imprisoned the soul within. As for that gem's location, I had hoped you would have no business venturing to the castle. Kolima was once ruled from that place, but sadly her people have not seen their lord for quite some time. But if you please, I would prefer not to dwell upon this subject. You
Well-
have done me a great service this day, and I thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to the castle
King
eventually.
Graham, and good speed.
And that's where the fanfiction subtext that it will have, that this will have, will go into full effect.
You depart the underwater kingdom and head back towards the surface.
But
What
no,
an
for now we
incredible
will...
experience. You are certain you will never forget the adventure you just had. Additionally, you have acquired one of the gems. As you resurface, you realize that the magic which allowed you to breathe underwater has now subsided.
How we figure that, we don't know, but yeah, we have the first gem now. That's quite handy. Also, it's a bit later in the day, I think, so... So I think there might be something around here that we can use, that we can find, to point us to the next step in our quest. Or if not, we can just find out for ourselves. By returning to the town, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a piece of paper you can pick up somewhere. Somewhere around this area, I'll tell you that. Or maybe I could just not find it, who knows.
There's a log nearby.
Is there anything in this log?
You peer into the log.
No, apparently the answer is no. Well... yeah, it is quite a bit longer, mostly because of the cutscenes and, you know, the whole assets that they have. So we can cross that bridge an indeterminate number of times now, but we can't actually open the door until we have all 3 stones, so there is that. I guess we could try giving the handkerchief to the cloth to the guy in the haystack.
Here. This might help your sneezing.
Oh, thanks. Here, you can have this back now.
Gee,
You
thanks.
retrieve the partially used cloth from the haystack.
Feel better?
Yeah, it's so good to be able to
So we have a used handkerchief and this.
You take the silver needle.
Silver needle, well...
The sign atop the store simply says A.
although this store, which was closed before, should now be open, I think. Yep. Oops. No idea what happened there, but...
The little old lady is tiny, with twinkling blue eyes. Her white hair is done up in a neat bun on top of her head. She appears at first to be in her 60s. Then you notice the sheer quantity of makeup plastered on her face, and decide that she may well be older than that.
So let's see what she has to say then.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you, dear?
Hello. Do you sell anything that would aid in ascent up a mountain?
Unfortunately, I do not sell climbing equipment or anything of that sort. This is really a specialist store.
Oh.
However, I do have an item which you might find useful. This lamp is said to contain a genie.
Well,
Never tried it myself, of course. I do not believe in using magic to solve my problems. Nature has made us as we are, and we should be glad of that.
well, she sounds trustworthy.
How much for the lamp?
The old lady hesitates. You sense she wants more from you than your money. You hope it is not anything that you will regret.
Well, seeing as how you are a man who seems adept at taking care of himself, perhaps you could do a small favor for me?
Somehow, you knew she was going to say that.
I once owned a beautiful nightingale.
Yep,
Quite proud
here we
of
go
it.
again.
But the sentimental value far outweighs its monetary worth. That foul old witch Hagatha has stolen it from me, probably to use in some concoction or another.
Her nose screws up in disgust.
So, if you could be a sweetie and retrieve it for me, I will trade you. The lamp for the bird. Agreed?
I suppose so.
Well, I will see what I can do.
Do be careful. If Hagatha should spot you out of her good eye, then you'll be in for it.
So now we have to go into the witch's cave and retrieve a stolen bird. Isn't that great? Well, first we need to return the... Should be to the northwest of here, I do believe. Oops, again, clicked off. And here is the cave again, but we do have that, the bat symbol which glows and threatens to kill us, so... So let's have a look at these skulls which are here.
It is a human skull with a radiant blue stone wedged into its eye socket.
Don't think I could know, since...
It is a human skull with large eye sockets.
Since I think it pretty much takes over everything, the game, when you get to that point. So it's not really an option. Also, yeah, skulls, one with an eye socket
The
and one...
skull looks like it is designed to be pivoted on its stake.
And something on one which
As you
doesn't.
face the skull towards the image of the bat above the cave, you notice that its wing has faded slightly. However, you suspect that whatever danger the bat represents is still in effect.
Yep, so the skull with the gem in its eye can be turned. What about the other one? It cannot, so let's try sticking this very important blood device in it.
As you attempt to place the birth gem into the skull, you discover that it does not fit properly. Instead, it juts out uselessly like a bulging eyeball.
But it doesn't quite fit, so let's do this the right way and hammer it in.
You gently tap the birth gem with the mallet, hoping not to break it. It budges only slightly. You give it a harder hit. It moves a bit more. You hold your breath and give the gem an almighty thwack. It pops into the skull.
So that went great.
There is no... The birth gem is now fully inside this skull's eye socket.
So that worked out pretty well, I would think. So let's try
With
turning the gem,
birth
and sure
gem now
enough.
firmly in place, you turn the leftmost skull so that it faces the bat symbol above the cave entrance.
And now the
power
bat symbol
of the
is
two
gone.
Skulls combined has caused the bat symbol to disappear. You sense whatever danger it represented has now subsided.
So let's head inside,
try-
having done this. And sure enough, there she
As
is.
you enter, you are almost overwhelmed by the foul stench which molests your nostrils. It is obviously coming from whatever Hagatha is cooking in that large cauldron of hers. There are some things of interest on the other side of the cave, but you have no means of crossing over there safely at this time. A caged nightingale sits on the floor near the northern cave wall.
I
The
don't know
light
about
from
that.
outside barely penetrates the interior of this cave. So long as you keep your distance, Hagatha shouldn't notice you.
Yep, so the witch is right there.
This is the ugliest old lady you have ever seen. She has warts all over her face and matted gray hair. She clasps her stick with claw-like hands.
And a cloak.
A simple but elegant black cloak hangs on a stand.
And the nightingale
A
on the other
gilded
side.
cage sits to one side of the cave. A beautiful nightingale flits nervously inside. The cage is locked and chained securely to the wall.
I'm not sure if we can actually remove the chain, but might as well start moving around and hope she doesn't see us.
You need to get closer.
How much closer? Well, I think we're close enough now.
Being as quiet as a mouse, you slide your hand inside the cloak to discover a deep pocket. Amongst sticky and disgusting spell ingredients, you find a tiny silver key and a peculiar golden ring-shaped device.
So let's
You
try.
hear Agatha begin a chant of some kind while stirring her brew.
Let's listen to the chant as we continue approaching the nightingale.
Fluid of blood with bone and flesh.
Well,
Twill make my complexion young and fresh.
yep, trying to make herself young with this
You
nightingale
slide
somehow.
the silver key into the lock. It fits. You turn it silently, and the chain falls to the ground.
All this is going well.
Inducing time to reverse its sail.
So we could just take the bird now, but it chirps, so
Uh-oh, Hagatha has seen you.
Well, you are the gentleman, saving me a lot of trouble by coming here.
but then this happens. We just teleported into the cauldron and that's it.
Ask the bird to be quiet next time.
Well, we will. So what does happen if we try to kill the witch?
When it comes to might versus magic, all bets are on the latter.
If you say so, game. So let's drape the cloth over the cage.
Silently drop the cloth over the cage.
And now that that's done, let's go ahead and take the bird.
Without making a sound, you take the nightingale into your possession.
And try to leave this place. Hope that we're in time.
Uh-oh, Hagatha has seen you.
Oh boy.
Well, you
No, that didn't quite work.
You wandered into the witch's lair, and where you stood gave not a care. She soon saw you, a smile she gave. Your flesh, your blood, your bones she craved.
So try that one more time. I hope I didn't just
Silent
didn't screw myself by waiting too long.
without
is a sweet nightingale.
Okay. Come on. Should be enough time. And there we go.
Uh-oh.
I thought, but then I couldn't even see myself.
You wandered into the witch's
But apparently she did. Come on. There we go. Yep, that, well, it worked somehow, but yeah, now we have the nightingale. So it's back to town we go. As we stroll through the quiet fields here. To give back the nightingale to that clearly well-intentioned lady that we met. Let's just give her the cage, there we go.
You offer the nightingale to Angelina. The sheer elation on her face almost makes the whole risk worth the while.
Well,
She snatches it from you and proceeds to fuss over the bird.
yes we do, but we'll get it back in just a bit.
If you don't mind, about the lamp you promised me in trade for the nightingale?
The shopkeeper looks up at you vaguely. She gradually remembers that there is another being in her world.
Yep.
Yes? Oh, yes, take it. You'll have no beginning of use with it.
Don't you mean no end of use?
Of course. Whatever you say, dear.
Well,
You hear
Yeah, she sounds
muttering
trustworthy.
cheerfully to herself as she exits.
Finally, I have the final ingredient for that marvelous youth potion. I'm going to beat you to the punch, my dear Agatha.
Well,
Serves you right for hoarding this sweet, juicy thing to yourself.
You feel a nauseous tinge in your stomach. Well, at least the lamp is now yours.
yep, that happened. So let's take this lamp
You take the old lamp.
and rub it, ignoring what just happened there.
You rub the lamp and wait expectantly, but nothing happens. You're about to give it another try when a small puff of smoke appears at the end of the spout. It clears, revealing a note. As
Yep.
you remove it, the lamp disappears. You read the scroll.
The unlucky fool who bought this lamp no longer contains a fabulous genie, but the shopkeeper is not to be trusted. Well, it's a bit late for that. So hard like a stone and white like the snow stands silent the man who guards what's below. Well, Nibor Sima will. Not sure what that's supposed to mean, but let's try fiddling with this statue.
Upon closer examination, you discover that the statue hides a small latch. You flip the latch and watch in amazement as a trap door opens up from the floor.
Yep. And let's head
Hey,
below.
senor.
Let's head below, I said. There we
You
go.
close the trap door behind you.
And check out what's down here, like this prominent note, for instance.
You see a letter on the desk.
Yeah, apparently he did, but yet the lamp still exists.
You read the letter sitting on the desk.
An invitation to join our illustrious community. Yada yada yada, the father. The guide us from the beginning and his power is far older than most. Well, the former ruler has lost all interest in his homeland. Well, the change struck him quite hard. Wonder what they could be talking about. And here she has a nightingale. So she's inviting her to join the Society of Evil Wizards. I guess that's in the King's Quest games. You might know of that if you
A
can't familiar with
large
the history, but
double-bladed broadsword leans against the bench.
can we steal this broadsword?
You much prefer the lightness of your own sword. Besides, this one is only an antique.
Well, if you say so, game. Also, this carpet on the
You
far
see
left.
a colorful, rolled-up carpet.
This we will steal.
As you pick up the carpet, you notice a small label which reads, "Property of Al Den." There might be a faded letter or two in there, but you cannot be sure. Above you, from the back room, you discern Angelina's voice.
Tip, and here we go.
I did it! I did it! The youth potion is finally finished. All I need to do now is drink it.
Angelina, show yourself, you scurvy wench.
Agatha? My dear! What an unexpected surprise!
Don't you play the fool with me. I know you stole it.
Stole? Really, I do not know.
Silence. For your lies and deceit, there can be only one consequence.
No, please. I can explain.
I said silence. Oh, and one more thing.
Well,
Your invitation to join us is revoked.
that went well.
What is this? Ah, the youth potion at last. Oh no,
Well,
drat. Now what was that spell for removing floorboards? Curses. I shall have to go back and look it up.
so now we have the vial of youth potion.
You fish around in the pile of down and successfully retrieve the youth potion.
So let's go ahead and drink that.
Curious as to whether the youth potion lives up to its name, you drink every last drop of the blue liquid.
And sure enough.
Planning to start your life over? Unfortunately, your fair maiden won't be around by the time you become interested in women again.
So that went well. And it still has that mocking end to the fanfare, actually. Didn't really notice that until now.
Cautiously, You open the trapdoor ever so slightly and peer into the room above. Agatha is nowhere to be seen. You make your exit from the basement.
Yep, and out we go.
You close the trapdoor again before you leave.
So we scored a youth potion and a magic carpet, so let's put both of those things to good use, I think. Actually, I'm not sure if we have everything we need right now. Let me confirm this. Okay, we have this. We need this. We need to use the stake on the sword, I think.
You have no reason to...
No, there's a crystal on our sword.
This is the sword of the first king of Daventry. It dates back almost 1,000 years and has been passed down from king to king since that time. Try not to damage it. A magnificent clear crystal is embedded within its hilt.
Yep, this is useful information actually, but we'll need this in just a moment. Because, well, we deal with the situation that's coming up a bit differently this time.
In your keenness to locate the second gem.
Alright, before we to do that, we need to get back the birth gem from the skull's eye, that's right. As the game ever so kindly reminds us to do. So let's do that.
You cannot remove the birth gem.
We have to use force, so... wrong thing. So let's use the same instrument.
You strike the skull with all your strength, and it shatters easily. The birth gem clatters to the ground.
So the skull no longer exists, so we can no longer go into the witch's cave, but...
You reacquire the birth gem.
But we don't need to do that anymore. Let's just go ahead and roll and ride the magic carpet here.
You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you ascend higher, you realize that the carpet is beyond your control. It glides through the air on a seemingly predetermined course.
So the crystal on the sword isn't one of the 3 gems, if that's what you're asking. But we will need it shortly. So we made it to this place again. There's the snake one more time.
A snake blocks your path to the east. It appears to be about 10 feet long and is coiled up, ready to strike.
So let me see. This time, instead of killing it or turning it into a horse right away, we need to hypnotize it with this. Because that works.
You dangle the shimmering opal in front of the snake. It soon falls hypnotized in typical snake fashion.
Okay, wait. What if we try to kill it? Because I'm pretty sure that would screw ourselves up.
You could simply kill the snake, but something about its presence up here is a little strange.
Yeah, if we could kill the snake, we would actually be screwing ourselves out of finishing the game. For reasons also. There's that hole in the rock again.
It's too dark. You can't see down there.
Maybe interact with it?
You reach into the cavity and feel around. What is this? You've discovered a button hidden inside the rock. You press it and wait to see what happens next.
And here we go.
In an instant, a man stands beside you. He appears to be somewhat of an adventurer, much like yourself.
Greetings. I am King Graham of Daventry.
The newcomer nods in greeting. Without a word, he respectfully appraises you. You notice about him the manner of one who has only recently learnt the meaning of heroism.
From where do you hail, good sir?
The man opens his mouth to answer, but then pauses to consider that question. Evidently deciding that irrelevant exposition would serve neither party, he casually gestures to the hole in the rock behind you.
Might I inquire something of your identity?
After a brief search of his own person, the man pulls out a scroll card and hands it to you. You unroll it, and it reads, "Having fulfilled the requirements in accordance with the statutes of the famous Adventurers Correspondence School, the bearer is a qualified would-be hero." The man also shows you a medallion. Upon it are the words, "Hero of Spielberg." You reverently return the scroll to the man.
Yep. You don't say much, do you?
With a sigh of resignation, the man shakes his head silently.
Surely you might speak to me of your adventures.
The man becomes quite enthused about the prospect of relating his most recent adventure to you. Just as he is about to speak, however, you notice something on the ground that the man must have dropped.
Yep.
You retrieve the paper. It appears to be a scroll. Upon it is some writing. Disclaimer, you have just witnessed a rather shameless plug for the remake of Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire by the entities of AGD Interactive. Available now.
So
As you
that's
read the writing, the words are ingrained in your mind. The scroll disappears.
that's indeed what that was all about. Instead of the Space Quest blog, we now get that. So let's head into the cave. It looks a bit different this time, as you can see. Maybe check out what's... Well, just look around.
The cave is adorned with the most beautiful coverings you've ever seen. The material sparkles in the light from outside the cave. There's almost something unreal about this brilliant decor.
So, who could live here? Maybe if we look at the inscription
You
on the
notice
wall.
that some writing has been engraved into the wall. You read the inscription.
A row of stones at number 6 have an pair from left to pick. Call in my spell,
The
avoid
engraving on
tricks.
the wall reads, in row of
Well, I already said that. Thanks, narrator, but...
You flip through the book entitled Ye Old Book of Enchantments, Causes, and Cures. The
Let's
first half
see.
contains a list of enchantments.
What have we?
These do not interest you, as you have no desire to inflict inconvenience upon others. However, the Cures section does capture your curiosity.
So let's see. To cure ourselves from enchantments, only the power of an emerald can do that. Heat a blue mineral and yellow vegetable. A plant is an acceptable alternative. Well, they coagulate into a greenish liquid. Sure, that'll work. Stir it with a white feather. Drop it into a perfectly clear crystal. Recite. And there we go. So I think we have everything we need. Let's see if we can pry the crystal from the sword now.
You managed to dislodge the crystal that had been set within the hilt of the sword almost a millennium ago. You feel a tinge of guilt and wonder what all the past monarchs of Daventry would say if they saw you damaging ancient crown property.
Yep, so we have dislodged the crystal, but we should have everything we need to.
You approach the workbench for a closer look.
To make that emerald now. Let's see. It's heat a sapphire, I think.
You toss the earrings into the beaker.
With a yellow vegetable or plant.
You toss the sickly yellow flower into the beaker.
Let's use our sword to light this thing.
You strike the blade of your sword against the flint stone. It sparks, and the wick catches alight. You watch, fascinated, as the two unlikely objects melt under the heat of the magical flame.
So you need a magical flame for this, huh? What else?
The ancient book. You flip through the book and the...
Da-da-da. Coagulate, stir, drop into a perfectly clear crystal. Okay. So stir it with the feather.
You stir the mixture carefully with the white feather. It soon dissolves in the hot liquid.
And now we need the crystal.
You drop the crystal in and watch, amazed, as the green liquid slowly seeps into it.
Actually, wait a moment. Do we need to do this, or do we need to...
You flip the...
Oh yeah. Well, we need to speak now. Recite the rhyme. Heed now these words: crystal perfect, green is thy hue, restore correct. I don't think perfect as an adjective rhymes with correct, but alright. God will my form preserve, protect. So let's see. Yeah, apparently it is, so let's speak to it.
Heed now these words. Crystal, perfect.
Perfect.
Green is thy hue. Restore, correct. Guard well my form.
See?
Preserve, protect.
Perfect as an adjective doesn't rhyme with
line
correct.
for line, and sure enough, only a brilliant emerald remains in the glass beaker.
Or at
You
least it's a
quickly
bit of
pull
an
the flame
assonant
out so
rhyme.
as not to overheat the emerald and cause damage to it.
So now we have an emerald that can
Picking
undo
it up gingerly,
hexes.
you're amazed that the emerald took virtually no time at all to cool.
So clearly we are equipped to deal with everything now. And what we actually have to do now is, well, check out the
A
shelves
collection
maybe?
of books are stacked side by side on a nearby shelf.
No, apparently we don't
You hear
understand them, but
footsteps
here we go.
approaching.
Thought I would have to wait longer, but no, here comes this guy.
Uh-oh. The enchanter has caught you in his lair. He twirls his hands, aims them at you, and then utters some words under his breath.
But we do have the
A
emerald.
tingling sensation all over your body as the enchantment attempts to transform you into whatever the enchanter has fancied. At the same time, you also feel the comforting energy of the emerald shielding you. The enchanter's twisted smile turns downwards. He scowls at you.
So here we go.
There is a look of panic on the man's face. He does not dare breathe.
I hereby order you to depart from Kalima forever, never to trouble its citizens again, lest you earn the fullness of my wrath.
The enchanter looks baffled. You sigh inwardly and try again.
Well,
Leave. If you come back, then you will get it.
I think he gets
The
it.
enchanter nods frantically, as much as he can without cutting his own neck on your sword edge. He gestures quickly with his hands.
Yep, and he does indeed leave, but he does leave the carving behind. Because it's kind of important that we don't miss this clue. But we're already ready. It says to look out for the Ring of Stones and pick the 5th one, basically. So with this new shiny emerald in our possession, let's use it on the snake.
As you direct the sun's light through the emerald at the snake, you behold a wondrous transformation.
And that happens.
Before you now stands a magnificent winged horse.
Thank you for freeing me. A horrid enchanter transformed me into that legless thing after I refused to be his steed.
So pretty much the same thing.
That was quite a gamble, to refuse an enchanter.
True, but I could not have accepted, even if I had wanted to. For I am a disciple of the cloud, and can serve no land dweller.
Disciple of the cloud? What does that mean?
First, tell me of what you seek up here.
You take a deep breath, then explain about the Door of Destiny, the gems of nature, and your present quest to locate the growth gem.
So, you seek the air gem?
Yes, that is right. You know of it?
Most certainly. But you will not be able to reach it by any means available to you or any of your kind. I would gladly take you to it, but alas, the enchanter took and hid from me my bridle. Without it, we could search for 1,000 years and still never find the cloud spirit.
Where did he hide your bridle?
I do not know. Perhaps a clue may be found in that blackguard's abode behind me.
Well, I'm pretty sure, point of fact that the word that is pronounced blackguard is supposed to be spelled blackguard, but... Well, I'm trying to go west here. I'm pretty sure that's where we have to go right now. Or maybe not. Well, we have to go back down to ground level is the thing.
It would be too dangerous.
Okay, maybe... Go back west, do that.
There's not enough room.
Okay, what about if I do this then? Nope, use the carpet, please. There we go.
You unroll the magic carpet. The carpet begins to descend.
And go back to the ground level. I think we need to go a little bit west of here, actually. Either way, I'm pretty sure we didn't ride the carpet when we were there. We rode it outside the witch's cave. So I'm not sure why it brought us back there, but... we need to go south of here, I think. That's where these 6 stones are.
6 spherical stone.
So let's check out the one... Well, let's check out a random one first.
You try to lift the stone, but it will not budge.
No, that doesn't work. What about the 5th one?
You try to lift the stone.
Nothing.
You try to lift...
Oh wait, maybe we're supposed to use our emerald on it, that's right. Which would make sense.
You bend over and hold the emerald above the stone so that the sun's light channels through it.
And sure enough, that transforms the stone
Incredible.
into the bridle.
The rock has transformed into a silver-studded bridle.
So we found that bridle.
You take the bridle.
Can we ride the carpet here?
There's not enough room.
What if we go to a different screen then? Is there enough room to use a carpet in the middle of the lake?
There's not enough room.
No, evidently not. Well, go west from here then. And there should be enough room here.
You can't.
There.
You unroll the.
And now we
As
return
you reach
here.
down to get the carpet, it vanishes into thin air.
So we can't use the carpet again. However shall we get back? Well, we need to go and give the bridle to the horse now that we've found that.
You slip the bridle over the horse's head. It whinnies its approval.
Come, climb upon my back.
So let's take on the final step of the quest for the second gem.
Hold on. This will be a little accelerating.
As we're carted off into the clouds.
The disciple of the cloud gracefully soars high into the sky. You grip the reins tightly and hold on for dear life as he swoops and dips between the clouds. After a time, he draws near to a thick patch of luminous mist. As you pass through it, the horse sets itself down, seemingly on top of a cloud.
It is all right. You can dismount now.
Believing that you have finally lost all sense of reason, you dismount and prepare for a very long drop.
But of course we can now walk on clouds.
And find yourself standing on a cloud.
Like how none of this happened in the first version, but yeah. And here comes the scene. I think is the last thing I'm gonna do this time, since this is the scene I wanted to reach initially. Or maybe this is not the place I'm supposed to go to.
The disciple.
Maybe this I'm already at the screen, I
What is
thought.
this spirit you speak of?
I think.
The essence of what you see. It passes through us as we grow, all through our lives, though few are ever aware of it. You will know soon enough.
But, well, what about the spirit of the cloud himself? Where is he?
Why do you choose to serve this cloud spirit?
It is my destiny, and I must fulfill it, just as you must fulfill yours.
I was not aware that I had one.
All of us have a destiny. Some are predestined, others are determined by choice.
If it's determined by choice, it's not much of a destiny,
of
is
the
it?
latter.
Well,
How is it possible that I can stand upon thin air?
there it is.
Such are not the questions you should be asking. You have come for the Air Gem, or the Growth Gem, as it was once named by the ancients. It has not been termed thus without reason, for one who would have the gem as his own must prove himself grown and thus worthy of it.
Meaning, no disrespect.
Cloud Spirit.
Thank you. You must agree, Cloud Spirit, that I am a man fully grown, thus fulfilling your prerequisites.
Yeah, in that
howling
sense.
wind deafens you momentarily, though you feel nothing on your skin. The cloud spirit speaks again, a little more forcefully.
It is not enough that you have grown in body. That much is evident. It must be proven that you have also grown in both mind and soul. So on these shall you be tested.
Tested?
Those who bear the burden of king are expected to possess certain qualities. Your actions will be judged against the weight of these. It shall be seen whether you are deserving of your title. It shall be seen whether you are worthy of the Growth Gem.
After a moment of silence, the cloud spirit intones,
Behold your first test.
Yep. Yeah, the sequence is kind of long though. You have to go through pretty much all the dialogue each time. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and only do one combination right now, but
mist around
it's the
you
best one,
clears,
don't worry.
and you find yourself in a familiar place. This is Daventry, and furthermore, you are a child again.
Yep.
A slight dizziness overwhelms you for an instant. How strange!
Well, you can't
no
you
longer
can't save
recall
between the
anything
tests,
past
the
this
thing.
moment in time. It is as if this is happening again for the first time. Even stranger, you are still vaguely aware that you are undergoing a test of some kind, though for what purpose, you cannot fathom. But look, it is Malvolio,
Yep,
your
someone
best
noticed
friend.
that, I see.
The two of you are deeply engrossed in a game of bat and ball.
Apparently our friend is Malvolio. Doesn't sound vaguely Shakespearean at all, no sir. And sure enough. Got a plea right outside the castle.
That sounds like the king now. What do we do?
Fucking kid, Graham. But apparently we don't get the portrait of the other guy.
You there.
Yes?
Yes? Is that how you address your liege?
No, your majesty, King Edward, sir. I mean, sire.
Which of you two boys threw that ball? The one that just happened to land on my head?
Well, we have a few options here. Why any sensible would do it under the... Well, what are friends for? So blame the other guy. Claim that no one did it, I guess. Kinda tell the truth, I guess, so... It was a combination, or we could go for the top moral path choice, I guess, so... We shall.
You summon all your courage and speak up.
Your majesty, if you please. It was I who hit the ball over the castle wall. It was my fault completely. Please do not punish my friend.
The king eyes you carefully. You wonder if you are now in serious trouble.
I would not punish one for something so trivial. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere, away from here.
Yes, sire.
One more thing, my young fellow. You have demonstrated good character today by taking the blame for your friend. The finest knights in this realm demonstrate their compassion by protecting others, even if that should mean putting themselves at risk. I find that to be a rare quality in the many I meet. When you have grown up, I hope to see you again.
I actually don't know.
Thank you, your majesty.
So we see ourselves in our past. Now we're gonna see ourselves in our near future, I believe.
Behold your second test.
Well,
You feel yourself growing older, more so than before the tests began. Again, dizziness overcomes you. Your memory of the previous test fades, and in its place, your mind is filled with the knowledge of everything that has since come to pass. This includes, unfortunately, the dreadful misfortunes which have plagued Daventry since the coming of the terrible three-headed dragon.
Yep, the
To make
three-headed
things
dragon.
worse, your
Better remember
17-year-old
that.
daughter has been demanded as its latest sacrifice. In return, it will not harm the rest of the population.
Gotta feed my dragon
until
to
the next
King
command.
Ghidorah.
You would go forth to destroy the dragon yourself, but you no longer have the heart for such quests. Never have you felt so forlorn, so frail. You fear that given the choice, you would do anything to rectify the situation.
Yep. It's more of a vision, though. But here comes this guy. Wonder who he could be.
A charming view. No wonder you come here so often.
You. I will see you hanged for this intrusion. Guards! Guards!
Calling them will do you no good. For even if they come, they will find their king speaking to only the air he breathes.
A pox on thee! Who are you?
My name, my true name, has been heard by none for nigh on a millennium. It is enough that you know me as the Father.
Yep, the
Then
guy
say what you
who
have come to say and be gone.
told the witch to kill us, no less.
We're one for small talk.
You cursed my family. As a result, that dragon is now loose upon the land, and one of my children was kidnapped.
Now that is not quite the truth.
Do you deny your involvement?
Not at all. It is just that you have omitted so much.
Speak, and be gone.
Very well. I want your crown.
Yep.
You cannot believe what you have just heard. This vile creature has caused untold misery throughout your land for nearly 18 years and has now infiltrated your castle just to ask that you hand over your authority to him? Of all the outrageous...
Is that what this is all about? You want to rule Daventry?
Apparently not.
What would I want with a puny little kingdom when in a few short years I will have more power than Legitimor himself? No. I want only the thing you wear atop your head. Your crown.
Don't really know what that's referencing, but...
Without it, my efforts to prepare for the ascension...
Actually, because we missed a trip to the library that we couldn't take after getting the first gem.
Long to be deterred from it now.
If you need it that badly, you could have just taken it. You had plenty of opportunities.
Are you completely ignorant of the legends of your predecessors? None can possess the crown of the first king unless it's given.
If you think for one moment that I would...
Before you speak further, consider this. In exchange for what I ask, I shall lift my curse and all that it entails from you and your blighted land. You shall have both it and your family restored in full. Minus your title, naturally.
Your mind reels at these words. For almost 2 decades, a countless number of innocent people have suffered under the afflictions Daventry has had to endure.
So we're gonna make a deal with this guy.
People would continue to suffer indefinitely, notwithstanding the pain you feel over your own family's misfortune. With a simple statement, you could put an end to it all.
So this is where the choice comes in. Well, we could look at him, I guess.
The shrouded figure standing before you is the man responsible for all of Daventry's present troubles.
So yeah, time to make a deal. We could say unconditional acceptance, provisional acceptance. It's pride cometh before all else. That's clearly the best choice now. Final act of defiance. Or severing the lifeline, which I think is actually the top moral option here.
To give you my crown would signify a change of leadership. So says the law of this land. It also says that the crown is to be worn only by those with the highest regard and intent for Daventry. So, to give it to such a vile being as you would betray the honor and memory of all the past kings who have worn it. No, I will not do it.
Not even for the sake of your family?
There are some principles for which even one's family must be sacrificed.
The man appraises you as a scientist would a unique specimen.
Well,
an intriguing set of morals you have, King Graham. I almost look forward to the time when you will put aside your obligations here and seek me out. I have foreseen that we shall meet again.
So we pretty much said screw it. I can't do it because that's not right.
Behold your third test.
And now for old Graham.
Once again, you feel yourself age. You are many years older now, though still, thankfully, King of Daventry. As before, the knowledge of the previous test ebbs from your mind. This time, however, it is filled with a greater knowledge of all that has come to pass thus far. Many years have passed. Your children, once heirs to your throne, have forged their own paths in other kingdoms. Fortunately, chance has seen fit to fill the vacuum. Following the restoration of the Mask of Eternity, Daventry now has a new champion.
Yep.
How do you feel?
And here's the guy from King's Quest 8, you know, the non-canon game.
How do you really feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
You smile and feel the lines in your face stretch. You hope you'll get used to it when the true time comes.
You know what they've been saying about my decision, that is.
The people question my ability to perform the duties when I have another higher obligation. I believe that I can attend to both with the utmost equity.
You do not deny that this obligation may arise at any moment, perhaps taking you away from this country at a time of great need?
It seems inconvenient.
Of course not, sire, but I shall deal with that troll, as they say, when I cross that bridge.
And there is the matter of you not being of royal birth. That does not sit comfortably with some of the nobles.
The qualities of truth, light, and order can shine from even the most impoverished of souls. Nobility is defined through one's actions, not one's lineage, Your Majesty.
Apparently he's from King's Quest 8. I don't know, I've never seen or played that game, so couldn't really tell you.
Extremely well.
But yeah, time to see if I pick the right things. If so, the best choice will show up. Oh god. Well. Yeah, it seems inconvenient. Okay, here we go. Yep. We could not knight him, we could say night time, or we could do this.
I have decided, after long and careful consideration, that in order to
And now
earn your
time for the
knighthood,
best moment of
thou
this
must
game.
venture forth on a quest to capture and kill the most insidious and elusive of preys.
What is this prey? A dragon?
No. More wretched than that.
A trihorn scaled beast of the southern plains?
No. More woeful still.
Surely not the scourge of the low mountains, the flesh-burrowing scorpion?
No. But it does get under your skin all the same.
Well.
Then pray tell, of what do I seek?
Oh, sorry I'm late, Graham. I hope I haven't missed anything.
That.
The talking owl?
Precisely. Charge!
Graham! Graham! Oh!
Yep. And that's how that ends.
In an instant, you find yourself standing before the cloud spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
You have demonstrated some understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. Growth continues unabated throughout the lives of all living things. While you still have much to learn, you will continue to grow in all ways. You are judged worthy of the Air and Growth Gem.
Well, we clearly made all the right choices by doing that.
A green gem similar to your birth gem has appeared in the center of this cloud.
So let's claim our prize.
You take the growth gem. As you feel the knowledge of the last test fade from your mind, the cloud beneath your feet begins to evaporate. You'd better get out of here quickly, Graham.
Yep, so we can die, even after all that. If we just stand around doing nothing.
The cloud has become too thin to support your weight, and gravity beckons.
Yep.
While trying to hang on to your knowledge of the future, you forgot to hang on to something important.
So yeah, we can still get screwed after all that, but let's not die. Because after this there's only one gem left.
Finally, your flight comes to an end. You hope that it will be quite a while before you take to the air again.
I think there's one more cutscene we have to watch before we continue, though I don't know when it
Where
triggers.
would you like me to land?
On the ground would be fine.
Take this sugar cube. It will protect against the poisonous growth of this land.
Yep.
Fare thee well.
An offshoot goat horse. And if the cutscene
As
triggers
dusk
here.
sets
Okay,
in and the
wait.
pallid moon rises above the darkened horizon, you recall the Door of Destiny's words regarding the third gem, through swampy mire, in lone dark castle. Then you remember the great Neptune's disquiet reluctance to speak of Kalima's lord. You sense a growing unease that this final gem may not be the easiest to acquire.
Nope, it's actually gonna take a long time to do that, but for that reason, I think since we were only about half done with the game, really, I'm going to call the game
Dost
here.
thou truly wish to cease our adventuring?
Kinda finish it next time, I guess. And, yep. And, well, I have one other thing planned, but it's going to be quite lengthy. I find, and since I spent like 3 hours on the game already, maybe I'll also save it for next time. who knows? Well, I will tell you something. It has to do with my decision to not torture people anymore with the same sort of shit that I've been showing regularly over the past 5 or so streams. I think we've had enough of that, even though we're not even half done with that. Yes, I'm only gonna do King's Quest 1, 2, 3 and 4, so if you want to check out how 5, 6 and 7 play out, I do recommend Retropraise Riff on it, on those games. I think their King's Quest 5 riff, for instance, is one of the best riffs they've ever done. So there is that. But for the time being, let me see. Might do some YouTube magic, might also see what the deal is with Steam, since I was having issues with that earlier. I was trying to buy some games that were on sale and will stop being on sale soon, and for some reason it won't accept my payment. I can't really understand why. So I hope I can get that sorted out soon. Yeah, 6 isn't too bad. 7 on the other hand, I don't know. Can't really see myself playing that and enjoying it. Okay. Is this going to work this time? Might as well verify this before I know. Of course it isn't. Fucking hell. Yeah, 6 days of sacrifices. I don't know about that, but I guess I'm gonna have to wake up before 2 PM. Tomorrow, and hope that this issue is sorted out that I'm having with Steam, but well, if not, I guess I'll just have to wait until next year. It's not like I can run those games that I'm trying to buy in my current computer anyway, but anyway. What I'm going to do now is take a quick break, as I usually do, and try to get something to quell my ailing throat and, you know, stuff. And I'll be back in a bit, so later in a few minutes.